So next, let's add this here, which is going to be the description of the weather of that day. But you also notice we have something here. We have this background kind of pill-like widget, and then on top of that we have the text. So how do we get that to work, right? To make it look like this? Well, it's very simple. Again, we're going to use our good friend Surface. Ah, wonderful. It's always the best canvas or the best widget really to use, because it allows us to do all sort of things as you see here. All right, so I'm going to say Surface, and let's put a modifier real quick. Of course, what's new? Added padding here. And let's see. Well, I just want 0 dp for now. Okay, that's okay. We can change that, of course, whenever we need to. Okay, let's put a shape, because that is the center piece. I'm gonna just add a circle shape. I don't need to modify anything. I'm gonna give it a color. And for color, I'm gonna use a hex again, my favorite. Like that. That looks good. And that's about it. All I need to do now is put a text inside of it. And I'm going to use weather object. Go to weather, and then get the first that I get, and go to get description. Right. And I'm going to pass a modifier. I'm going to use a padding, about 4 dp. And let's add a style while we're here as well. I'm going to material, theme, typography, and add caption like this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and there we go. All right, we see we have Wednesday, we have the icon there, the image, and we have scattered clouds. Very good, depending on where we are. And remember, we can always go back and change the city. Let's say Maputo. Hopefully that works. All right, Maputo, Mozambique. Look at that, 86 degrees. That's really nice. And voila, looking really good, just like what we have here. All right, what's next? Yes, next we're going to add these highs and lows. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Now, for our highs and lows here, we could have done just add, 2 separate texts, right? That's totally fine. But because we know the power of Compose, there's this text that we can pass an annotated string, which allows us to create annotated strings, which means pieces of strings that we can change independently, the color, the sizes, and so forth, right? So that's what we're going to do. And it's really convenient for us because notice here, for the high, we have a different color. For the low, we also have different colors. So to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, I don't know, that is a very aggressive way of putting it, but it works. We're just going to use that annotated string because it's just easier. All right, so that means after our text there, I'm going to say text. And you can see the difference here. We have the normal text and we have the text that says annotated string, which is exactly what we're going to be using. So I'm going to use the build annotated string. There's a lambda there, very convenient. And then inside I'm going to start annotating it. So I'm going to use the with style, passing the style for the first string. So I'm going to say style. I'm going to use span style, which allows us to do all sort of things. First one is going to be the color. I'm going to pass, say color. I want blue, and I'm going to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to change the alpha to be 0.7f, like this. Okay. And next, let's say font weight. Say semi-bold. That's fine. All right, this is also a lambda, trailing lambda. This is where we actually add the text, or in this case, the data that we want to annotate. So I'm going to say append. Look at that. I can append a char, text, and so forth. I can even append another annotated string. How convenient. All right, in this case here, I'm going to annotate white. Well, I need to go and get the max temp, right? How do I do that? If you look at the object, you see we have temp, day, min, max. I want to go and get max. So it's under the temp object. Okay, so as you can see, once you have data, you can do whatever you want with the user interface. So I'm going to use the format decimal because I need that. And I'm going to pass the weather. Go to temp object and get the max. And as always, I'm going to append, I believe it was Shift 0. Nope, that's not Alt. There we go. 0 like that, the degree. All right. Very well. And I'm going to do the same thing right after our lambda here. I'm going to use the width style again. Pass the style. It's going to be a span style. Say color. In this case, color is going to be color. And don't forget lambda. This is where I'm going to append the text. I'm going to format decimals. And I'm going to pass weather, temp, min, like this. And do the same thing. Alt option 0. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. And there you have it. All right, it's looking pretty much exactly like what we have here. All right, so as it is right now, we could stop here and call it good because it looks great and we get all the information we need, although everything is mechanical here, meaning that we always have to go and change manually the city, which is not convenient, especially if you are shipping this app, right? People won't have the code to come in and change the city. So we need to find ways in which we can actually allow users to add the text, in this case, the city. But nonetheless, it's working perfectly and it's great.